All right, y'all. So today I want to talk about STR Final Form Cooler. And I think that this guy will potentially EZA during this campaign. It's not like anything confirmed, of course, but let me know what you guys want to see from this guy if he does EZA during this campaign. And I did ask Twitter, with what we know about the Frieza plus Gogeta team, how would y'all design this guy's EZA to best fit it? I got a couple of replies we'll take a look at here. Now, it is possible this guy doesn't EZA. Usually what we've seen with Worldwide Celebration characters is they EZA during anniversary. So in fact, I'll bring up the timeline just so you guys could see. But during the 9th anniversary and the 10th anniversary, we had those Worldwide Celebration units get their EZAs. Namek, Goku, and Full Power Frieza EZA'd during the 10th anniversary. Then during the 9th anniversary, a little different on global, but during the JP one, we got Physical Boot Tanks and then STR Vegito get their EZAs. On global, this happened during Golden Week, but that is the main difference. And I mean, even during the previous year, we saw Super Saiyan 2 Gohan and Cell not easy during the 8th anniversary, but like the month before because of the superhero campaign. And I feel like if the superhero campaign wasn't released here, these two might have EZA during the 8th anniversary itself. So that would make a lot of sense to me anyways. But that's why people are thinking they might save this guy. And I think that's fair, right? I feel like it's possible they save all 4 of those Worldwide Campaign EZAs for the anniversary, or maybe they split them off and this guy could EZA right now. Either way, I think that this would be a good spot for him to EZA. Some people actually do disagree though, I think for very valid reasons, but I'm gonna go ahead and just read through these comments and we're gonna talk about things as they come up. But I really do think that this guy would be a huge addition. I mean, in my opinion, the thing that this Frieza and Gogeta team is missing is like early on damage or just another main rotation damage dealer that could help push the team forward. Because right now the team is full of support characters. Again, we take a look at movie bosses and movie heroes. We have Tech Janemba, Int Janemba, Broly Chile and Lemma right here. And movie heroes, we have Icon, Path to Pirate Kid Goku, LR Gods, and Super Gogeta could do some decent damage, but really that's like later on in the fight. This guy wants to stack up, this guy wants to stack up and then fuse into Gogeta. This Super Saiyan 2 Gohan could be decent, but I'm not going to say it's really his best setup, honestly. And a lot of these characters don't fit the full leader scope either. So ideally, you know, we get more characters that is on the entirety of it, just so that we can get more HP for the team and more overall damage dealt. So that's why this cooler, I think, being on the full leader scope would be very, very good here. But let's go ahead and read some of the replies and just talk about things as they again come up, because I do have a couple of points and counterpoints to what some people said. I did already respond to some people, but you know, I was kind of like waiting for replies to come in, and I felt like it was a more mixed reaction than I thought. A lot of people actually again against it. So this person said, I want to EZA him, ask for any specific reason. And Tengen Topa Gurren La Bomber, I like saying the full thing, sorry. No big bad bosses, just to know there's terrifying or Thirst for Conquest, but it's not the same. Meta doesn't favor him that much with locking and AoEs, plus his typing, unless he has guard and guaranteed crits or super effective. Patience rewards, hopefully. And some people are thinking, again, what's it called? Namek is going to be anniversary. I've seen a lot of people say, oh, I don't want this guy to EZA because I want Namek anniversary, or Namek will be anniversary and this guy will fit the team better. I feel like that's kind of a very interesting point, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all, like, expecting Namek to be JP anniversary is kind of losing to a dog in chess kind of analogy, right? Where it would be awesome if Namek was anniversary. Do I expect them to make Namek anniversary? No. I mean, you know what makes me even feel like more that won't be the case? We got our Dokkan SLR going to Frieza. Very awesome. But then they paired him with a Gogeta card. They released him because he's paired with Gogeta. Like, this is the only reason why we got a Dokkan SLR going to Frieza, because Gogeta's in the card. Like, we take a look at all the major campaign celebration characters, right? Recently, you know, Omega was paired with Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. And, of course, you know, Frieza would be paired with a Namek Goku, but this isn't JP anniversary. This is the, what's it called? what was I gonna say, the Global Dokkan campaign still, but even in part 1, we got Rose Goku Black, Super Saiyan Blue Goku, right? We go back all the way to this anniversary. I mean, we had the Fusion, Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, Frieza Goku, Tournament of Power stuff like Dragon Ball Super stuff, you know what I mean? We go back to the 9th anniversary. We had Blue Gogeta, Full Power Broly. We had a Beast Gohan, and then the Gammas, right? Like a lot of these like newer characters. Broly Worldwide was all Super Saiyans. 8th anniversary was the what's it called? I mean, Global's timeline is really weird. I'm trying to figure out where these global anniversary units released. You know, we had Future Saga, the previous Worldwide. Global anniversary was Goku and Vegeta together. Then part 2, what was part 2 for the global anniversary? Oh yeah, what was the Dragon Ball Z openings, which is definitely a really interesting release. A lot of people weren't excited for them, but I don't know. I would like Namek to be anniversary for sure. I think it would be a good choice. I just don't expect them to do that for anniversary. Maybe Global Dokkan campaign that Global's anniversary. I think it's a lot more likely because it's pretty much worldwide, but I mean, my hands are up in the air, chat. I'm just not gonna pin my hopes for that. So I think that cooler easing right now would be really beneficial. And again, people are really focused on just Big Bad Bosses, which again, it's a very good link. Like, don't get me wrong, Big Bad Bosses, we all know how powerful this link is. But cooler still links better with this Golden Frieza than most characters besides himself. Like, we take a look here, all want cooler to EZA during Namek, you know. Zero's here is just 5 links, right? No, with 25%, 45% here. This is what, 60% and then 70 or no, 80% attack right there, which is definitely a lot. He still shares 70% attack and was it I guess, you know, to be fair, like an LR version would have, you know, legendary power, right? But he still does share 70% attack here with his Frieza plus 15% defense. Then you could still get Big Bad Bosses from other characters such as Tech Janemba, Int Janemba, Broly, Chilan, and Lemo. Like, those are characters you would probably be able to run on this team. Then I think we could get some sub EZAs like Int Turles. I think we can get AGL Bojack, Physical, Lord Slug could all get their super easy, or first EZs, I guess technically, not super EZAs, right? There's a lot of characters here that Cooler would still be able to work very well with, and even without Big Bad Bosses, he'll still be doing a lot of damage because most of his links will be activated. It's not, Cooler's not like a, oh, only Big Bad Bosses has to be active for him to be good. If he has every single other link active pretty much, he'll be fine. I mean, Metamorphosis doesn't, yeah, Tech Janemba has it, Int Janemba has Metamorphosis. I've seen people run Physical Janemba on this team, right? And like I said, if we had a unit like Cooler pushing the damage, it could very well help things out here. So, you know, I think this like kind of argument here is interesting too, because of course, when you look at Cooler's base design, he's a build-up character that is weak to AoEs and things like that. I think that's very fair. Locking could hurt him. I'm not sure really about the typing. I mean, there's no physical bosses really, so I guess that's fair besides the physical Shenron. Of course, you know, Ejo Cooler could hurt him. There is the Ejo Gotenna Trunks, right? But they could very easily make this guy good still. Like, you know, the typing doesn't necessarily have to matter. Let's take a look at Tech Sin Shenron. This guy, you look at his kit, doesn't seem like he'd be good in this meta. He gets all of his stats when attacking. He's tech, so like into Goku Black AoE would have hurt him really badly, right? They completely changed so much of his kit. They made him get just 80% reduction turn 1. Like, they could very easily make this STR cooler. Like, what if he just has like guard, and then like for the first 3 turns he has like 70% damage reduction, and then gets like an extra 100% defense. Then he builds up in half the time. Like, what if it's just 5 attacks to build up, and he gets like a super at 5 attacks and then a super at 10 attacks. Maybe this becomes like a guaranteed additional super here. Maybe these become high chance supers. Like, there is so much they could do for this guy early on to help him do just crazy damage at the beginning of the fight or build up a lot faster. This character is also a debuff character, so like, again, against Goku Black, for example, you could actually debuff that fight, right? This character doesn't have to necessarily be a slot 1 either, because we have a lot of characters on this Movie Bosses team that could slot 1 or straight up protect him. Like this Golden Frieza and Gogeta. This guy gets locked in slot 1. It's not the worst thing in the world, because this guy has a target skill that could just straight up protect Cooler. So even if Cooler is in a disadvantageous state, you do still have this character that could potentially just straight up take all of the attacks that this Cooler would receive in the first place, right? Then Cooler, of course, has his active skill, which 8 attacks, definitely less like a turn 5 thing. That wouldn't be something that you'd see in turn 3. But this could just like straight up just like finish the enemy off and nuke him, right? There's many situations where this Cooler will be beneficial right now, especially with his attack lowering, doing all these additional supers, and he could still get defense when receiving an attack as well. This defense would be start of turn. Like, what if this guy has, I don't know, like a 3-turn defense raise on his 18 key super, and then he gets all these multiplicative stats start of turn, like his defense could be like a million start of turn or something, and he has damage reduction, and like AoEs won't even hurt him from the second turn onward. Then maybe turn 1 he could have like tons of reduction. Like, that's the whole point of an EZA. They could add things to these EZAs. So I'm not really understanding this right here, because they obviously know how the game is, and they'll make any changes that they deem necessary. That doesn't mean that it will happen. I mean, we take a look at Infusions of Masu, for example, right? Hands up in the air, right? I thought there was a reply here, but I guess there's a nothing. Still, but again, they could change so much with the EZAs, right? And yeah, look here. He shares more attack with Golden Frieza than any other Big Bad Bosses unit that isn't another Cooler. That is completely true. Like, we take a look at other Big Bad Bosses units, like, he's just gonna share pretty much Big Bad Bosses with them. Like, I don't know. Let's take a look at Bojack. I don't know, for example. Do we even have an LR Bojack? I think Bojack and the Bojack squad are like LR Turles, for example. I think that's another good example. Big Bad Bosses, 25% attack. Thirst for Conquest, that's going to be, I think, 40% attack together. Like, okay, let me actually do the math here specifically. Like, let's say an LR Turles comes out. That's 25 plus 15 plus the 20 plus a 15. That is 75% attack, to be fair. So he actually shares 5% more attack here. But even without Big Bad Bosses, he still shares nearly the same amount of attack with his Tech Golden Frieza. And, you know, this Cooler has, like, even though he shares less in defense links, right, 15% compared to the, what is the total, 40% defense, which definitely matters, this guy can still protect him. So I feel like people are not seeing how well these guys could actually be working together. And I really do like the idea of using Frieza's active turn 1, because it's just a safe way for him to build up. It could be a little risky in like the Goku Black Zamasu fight for this guy to build up. In other fights, he doesn't have to kind of take that risk. But like, let's say even in the Gogeta fight, you want Cooler to build up a little potentially. Maybe this guy could just protect him on that first turn. And then the second turn, like, they could just demolish the Gogeta in terms of damage. Or maybe at the very end, Cooler may have issues like tanking like the 9.4 million type disadvantage super. You could just save this active skill for him and he'll be able to be just fine, right? I think this is a situation where people are thinking of Big Bad Bosses, and it's like, yes, outside of context, not having Big Bad Bosses is very unfortunate. But it's not like this guy is still gonna not have so much damage in terms of links already anyways, right? So, and that's what I think this guy's role would be, damage rather than a slot 1 tank. Because again, we'll have AGO Golden Frieza EZA during this campaign, right? He's gonna come out in what, 3 days. Tech Golden Frieza is a target skill character. Tech Janemba is a tank character. Maybe you could still throw the LR Gods on here. The LR Gods could be a tank character. You could throw Pycon here. Pycon could have a Ghost Usher. Like, there's a lot of options here in terms of defense or support. Even like Broly, Chinla, and Lemo, they could be a slot 1 character if necessary. But we need a character like this, right? I mean, they could even say, like, what if they just get rid of this completely? And then they just make him get, I don't know. I would still probably want this build up, but maybe for the first 3 turns, what if he gets 100% attack when attacking or something? Like, they could do so much with this guy's kit with an EZA. They don't have to specifically stick by this design. I mean, we've seen EZAs change up what they do pre and post. So, yeah. Airplane mode, yeah, sure. What is the best thing to link level now? I'm actually not 100% sure. 35.6 sounds, it sounds fair. I've seen that thrown around. I don't think it's 34.1 was the previous one. I'm not sure. Frieza isn't good enough without taunt for me to want him to EZA here. He obviously needs some way to do more guaranteed damage if and when he EZAs. Give me some great chances. Yeah, imagine 2 additionals with a great chance to be a super. Make this a guaranteed super. They give him another guaranteed super after performing 5 attacks. that is kind of what I would change in terms of the additional super chances. And again, I feel like Frieza is good without the taunt. It's just that you want to make sure it's him building up. I think the issue with Frieza is him building up. When he's fully built up, he's not really dying in most situations. It's like when he's on the way to doing so that I feel like this Frieza could struggle. And even then, eventually you'll be able to get to Gogeta, and then Gogeta will have his nearly guaranteed dodge turn, if not just straight up guaranteed dodge with this orb changing. And then Cooler would be fine, because Cooler would get all that defensive support as well, which would be very nasty for this guy, right? I feel like Frieza would be fine. I mean, maybe Cooler. What if Cooler is like turn 1, 50% attacking defense to Terrifying Conquerors characters? This guy's on Terrifying Conquerors, right? I assume so. In fact, I could literally bring up this team. I think he's on it. Yeah, he is. So like, or movie bosses characters, 50% attacking defense turn 1. I could outbot this guy quite a bit, or like 10% reduction or something like that. You never know. They could change so much about this guy's kit. No big bad bosses, again, definitely matters, but it also at the same time in context doesn't actually potentially matter that much, right? As long as he's good, but if he doesn't get this as his battle motion, dude, this as his battle motion would be really good. By bringing his hands up like that, yeah, this would be peak. This would be peak. Go all in on offense for this guy. The team really needs firepower, especially with how Golden Frieza can feel dangerous with 5 mil super. Yeah, the thing is that if Cooler is just like obliterating these bosses in terms of damage, like Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta level, then you won't feel like, oh, I need to save this for later on in the fight. Because the reason why people feel like they can't use this active turn 1, I think, is because the team lasts so long in these fights that you want to use it at your most opportune time. But if you have characters like STR Final Form Cooler going in and just demolishing the enemy, like an LR Omega, like LR Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, you know, then you'll feel like, oh, I don't necessarily have to save this for as much of an opportune time. I could just use a turn 1 and just nuke the enemy instantly with Cooler and Golden Frieza. And then like, that can happen, right? Bro would be doomed with this leader. I really don't understand why people think so. Like they link very well. They link very well. This guy could protect the Cooler if he still needs to build up on the first turn. And then if this guy's like turn 3 doing like 150 mil attack stats and just like destroying the boss with like 5 additional supers or something, like what's the issue? You want him to easy A right now because if he's not Ranky, he's not on Omega's team. Yeah, he's not on Omega's team. That's true. Frieza doesn't have big BB. Again, still 70% attack. But if you did easy, you would want to be more oriented like VT. Good for long content, solid for short content. Barely any villains for festival battles. I mean, festival battles matters to an extent, but I feel like it's not really the biggest deal. We want Frieza's team to be good in the events where Frieza, I think, is meant to be, which is short content. Frieza's clearly designed, I think, for short content with his turn 1 target skill. And, you know, from the 6 turn forward, he has a great chance to guard. Of course, you could switch over to the Gogeta side, but still. I mean, this character, I think, is definitely designed for short fights. So why would you make one of his better linking partners designed for long fights? Cooler could still be good for long fights if they wanted to give him defense stacking. Like, what if they made him stack 50% attacking defense here? That'd be pretty nasty, right? And Frieza, again, also, we take a look here, links very well with LR Golden Frieza. He links very well with Final Form Cooler. I mean, what other movie bosses character could we get? What if they easy this guy? This Final Form Frieza, that would be really sick. That'd be really cool. Probably easy some of the bounty units like STR Broly and stuff and make them text and level. That also helps out quite a bit. But again, like the Omega team didn't, is like, I think we have to realize the teams on release had different like characters they needed. This team was top heavy. This team already had major damage dealers. Like we didn't need major, like we didn't need like a massive damage dealer added to this team. LR Omega himself already did some pretty good damage, right? We had like, you know, even Int 1 could do some pretty decent damage himself. We had LR Rose on this team, which could do some pretty decent damage too, right? This team wasn't like, oh, I need damage dealers, especially with the domain ability. That's not what this team necessarily needed. And even then, like Sin Shenron and Omega does do some pretty decent damage themselves. Not like the bounty units can't provide that, but I think a Dokkan Fest LR EZA that is like a major damage dealer is what this team needs. Big Bad Boss's leader, preferably 11th anniversary alongside a new Namek Frieza. I mean, yes, this would be good. I just, if you're expecting Namek for anniversary, I'm so sorry. Like, I love Namek so much, but I just like truly don't see that happening. Golden Frieza being this guy's best partners and do so much cooler damage. Again, here's this point again. It just doesn't make sense. Like, did you guys actually look at this link set, or are you just saying this just to say things? Because Coolers gets more again. Cooler gets more attack from most relevant characters, or from Golden Frieza, the most relevant characters right now. I mean, look at Slug, right? Big Bad Boss's Metamorphosis, Thirst for Congress, Face Battle. Like, it's still like almost, if not like more, it's around the same level, like 70 to 80%. And this Frieza protects Cooler when he needs to build up. Like, it's literally such a good partnership, but people are blinded by the Big Bad Boss's need, which, again, it is a really good link, but you could still even get Big Bad Bosses from other characters. And again, if they do sub easy, like, you know, it's Turles. I think did I show this? But like, if they sub easy like it's Turles here, or they could also sub easy where it is, I think there's like a physical Lord Slug, yeah, physical Lord Slug. There's also an EGO Boja. Like, they give these guys sub EZAs, they would share Big Bad Bosses, and there would be a lot of extra Big Bad Bosses characters on the team. And it's like, okay, you could have Tag Golden Frieza slot 1, Cooler slot 2, and then the other Big Bad Bosses character slot 3. Or if you use Frieza's target skill, you could switch Frieza to the 3rd slot, and then have Cooler sit in slot 2, and then the floater in slot 1, right? You know, there's tons of possibilities of like what you could and can't do with this, that I don't, again, think it's really like, it's really that big of a deal that people are making it out to be, right? And especially again with an EZA, I would assume they would make this guy's EZA good rather than bad, or at least give him some defensive tech. I mean, even turn 1 full power Frieza does have guard and, you know, a lot of damage reduction. He didn't really pan out to be the best, but I also feel like he didn't ever really get a team that he could truly look the greatest on. Whereas this guy does have that opportunity right now. And realistically, like, what character besides like a Namek Frieza are they going to release for this guy to be looking like on a really good team with? I'm not sure. It would have to be like a Wicked Bloodline team. But still, I mean, yeah. Major Cope, a best scenarios for him to EZA would be a part 2 LR first form Cooler that transforms. He just doesn't have the support right now. I mean, yeah, if they do like a Cooler in part 2, like a transforming final form, or a transforming Cooler into final form Cooler, and then the EZA this guy, that would be sick because both of them would fit the new team. Of course, he would be on transformation boost. That would be huge, actually, if they do a Cooler in part 2. I mean, it has been a while since you've seen Cooler. I mean, this final form Cooler we're talking about is pretty much the last Cooler we've gotten, like, for a premium release. Yeah. I mean, this is the global version. Let me, well, I can't actually look up Cooler properly here, but if I bring up movie bosses, we can bring up Cooler, and then let's just bring up Cooler right here. Let's paste this. Perfect. I mean, yeah, look at this. Pretty much this guy is kind of, we're waiting for him. And, you know, this physical Cooler Super EZA could be really good too, but this guy right here, him, like, getting easier than like a final form Cooler, or again, this is just Cooler specifically. Because, yeah, this is Cooler's base form, so that's why they call him just Cooler. That'd be really cool. I mean, let's take a look here at this. Yeah, that'd be really cool. Let's take a look at this transformation animation. This was really, like, this guy's animations were crazy when it came out. Could this be redone though? I mean, it looks very good still, but in terms of it getting like redone again, they could definitely do that. Honestly, I would be down for a Cooler part 2, like a base form Cooler into final form. That would be really sick. I actually really like this idea. And then we get Bird Goku in this Cooler ZZA. That would be an awesome idea. Yeah, I would actually really like that. Same person who worked on this unit, Zenkai. Isn't this guy Zenkai bad? From what I saw, like, this guy Zenkai is just mid. Chains enters animation to extreme when movie bosses. I mean, yeah, it's Terrifying Conqueror. It's not really the biggest deal, but they could add another one, or they could just straight up remove this. Damage reduction and additional super when on full extreme or movie bosses rotation. Stack defense 18 key, greatly raise attack for 1 turn and 12 key. Build up attack, crit on attacks up to 100%. Guaranteed second addition after 10 attacks. Yeah, I think like make this guy for the first 3 turns have guaranteed crits, and then have this build up to guaranteed crit as well. Kind of like there's a character who does that like has guaranteed crit for the first 3 turns, and then he builds up critical hit chance. Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta does that, doesn't he? Yeah, all attacks become crits for 1 turn. Then he has a high chance to crit here, but after receiving 7 more attacks, he gets another guaranteed crit. Like, again, it could be something like that, where guaranteed crit for the first turn, then he builds up critical hit chance with each attack he does. Make this like 20% attack and defense, or yeah, like maybe 30% attack and defense, up to 200% or something like that. And then, I don't know, 20% chance to crit up to 100% would be ideal. Let's give him guaranteed crit in this kit. That's what this cooler would want to do. Then after doing 5 attacks, an additional super, and then after doing 10 attacks, another additional super. That's what I would like to see. Save him for anniversary alongside Metal Cooler. Guys, if he EZAs during anniversary, you know what's gonna happen? He's gonna EZA, and it's gonna be like full power Frieza. And then we're gonna get like a, I don't know, some Beast Gohan or something during anniversary again. And then this guy's gonna have no team. Like, this is an opportunity for him to EZA with an actual team. Like, people, I see so many people saying Namek for anniversary, and it's like, oops, another Beast Gohan. Oops, Blue Gogeta again. Oops, Super Saiyan 4 Goku full power or something. Like, oops, Buu Saga. Like, I don't know, man. I'm not gonna lie, I took a sip of my coffee. I was getting really thirsty, but you guys, please think about what Dokkan does. They had to release Gogeta with this Frieza for him to even be a thing. Please, guys. 2 key, 50% stats support would be good. Yeah, 70% additional supers would be crazy, man. Woo. Choose up his crit damage and defense and lower standards. Standard Frieza easily handles slot 1. Ooh, 20% defense stack per 12 key. It's like a Glorio thing. Where you know how Glorio gets like 8% attack and 6% defense or something? Like what is it Glorio does specifically? Because Glorio has the 50% attack and defense rates, but he also stacks. Yeah, 6% defense, 9% attack. Like what if Cooler has this and it's 12 key? And it's like 10% attack and defense in battle. That would be sick. Insane in slot 2 or slot 3, 50% attack and defense, stacking and 18 key, 50% on 12. High grit chance, additionals, then some conditional guard and damage reduction. 2 Gogeta and 3 super would be inconsistent to activate with the bosses. I mean, if the team gets enough extreme class options like this cooler, it wouldn't really be that big of a deal. And again, big bad bosses, we already talked about this. I don't have to keep repeating myself, right? Only work turn 1 until he attacks. Frieza can turn 1 target to cover him, and maybe this guy gets in slot 1. I don't think they'd make him slot 1, but that would be really cool. Turn 6 and after, give him like 500% attack and 24 key. Turn 6 and after, man? I don't know. That's guard increase. No, we need damage early on. The meta isn't really good for him. Like I feel like I'm just so confused. Very, you know, the game starting with this guy to be like an anniversary easy or something so we can get all the good juice. This guy needs guard and high damage reduction with big numbers, he'd be pleased. Low dodge % chance for longevity. Rainbow Orb Changer, a damage dealing orb changer. This movie team needs orbs, like 4 of the units, then team needs orbs. I mean, another orb changer like this is like extreme class would be nice. This, he shouldn't be able to fuck up long fights, but short ones too. This fight was actually quite short even for movie villains. Make the base monstrous. 200% attack and defense, 40% reduction. For every attack performs, 30% attack and defense up to 120%. For every super, 10% reduction up to 30%. They guard all attacks when there's movie bosses or all eyes extreme. I don't know. I think that people are not understanding how well these guys would work together, even with the lack of big bad bosses. But I throw my hands up in the air. I talked about enough of this. I'm not gonna lie, chat. I tried to record this video like 8 times because I just couldn't get it right. But I feel pretty satisfied with the arguments I made in this video. But I understand why people would want this guy to wait for like a Terrifying Conquerors team. It's just like, besides like a final form reason, even with this guy, big bad bosses, universal, like let me add up the attack this Lynx would have. So 25% here, 20%, 20%, and then again 15. It is 80% attack. Like let's say final form Frieza has this, like it would be better. But again, this it's also very good with 70% attack, and we can get big bad bosses floaters and things like that. So I hope this guy EZAs now. I think that he will be good no matter what, and it's not like he's gonna necessarily be aged out by the time an anniversary comes around. Like if we get like anniversary Namek Frieza, that doesn't necessarily mean this guy would age out by then. I mean, we've seen characters age very well. Look at EJ White Goku, bruh. I mean, he's a dodge character, right? But like there's characters that have aged very well, and maybe this guy could be one of those. Like, you think Tech Sin's gonna really age out like that? I don't think so, right? Or I don't know, let me see what other character, like Super Saiyan 4 into Gogeta, like they could do a lot for these characters. I think, you know, like this Blue Goku, I guess he's not an EZA, but I'm trying to find like an EZA example, like, you know, LR God, Super Saiyan 4s. There are anniversary EZAs though, right? It's like Tech Janemba Pycon will age very well. Anyways, let me know what you guys are thinking though. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.